It's a Thursday right here on the early line and an action-packed show we have ready for you. Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri. And in some of these topics will be Major League Baseball long losing streaks to teams that we expected to be title contenders. The NBA play-in round continues here. And in the city of brotherly love, those Philadelphia 76ers punched their ticket to take on the Boston Celtics here. So many topics, so little time, Joe. Sometimes we just got to get right down to the meat and the potatoes, and we'll do that for them today.
Yep, lot going on here, Donnie,
Yeah.
as we get ready for the opening weekend of the NBA playoffs, and not to mention the NHL playoffs will be here as well.
Oh, big time here as we go, and hopefully getting some of those warmer weather conditions into these ballparks will help out. Steph Curry was hot last night, but you know what's hot right now? That cup of Joe served up to you right now.
Yeah, well, Donnie, I mean, today we do need to take a step back and send a massive shout out and appreciate the old guys in the NBA because they once again just proved that they know exactly how to show up when the season is on the line. And if you were watching the early game last night, well, then you had to suffer like the rest of us through the Magic and the Sixers putting on a painful, and I mean painful, offensive display of basketball last night. It was an absolute chore to sit through to even watch that. But the late game, well, the late game was a vintage masterpiece that wiped the bad taste right out of the mouths of those who watched the earlier one, because the Golden State Warriors again found themselves staring down a 13-point deficit to the Clippers with just about 9 minutes to go in the game. And of course, it was win or go home. It's play-in style here. And half that arena was thinking what most people who bet the Clippers were thinking and laid those points. And they were dead in the water. This game was over. But they learned very quickly that you never count out the heart of a champion. And you absolutely never count out playoff Steph Curry. Because once again, Steph went nuclear and doing exactly what he has done this time of year for over a decade. He just kept draining massive three after massive three, completely erasing the deficit, and of course, tearing the soul right out of Clipper Nation and those who are holding Clipper tickets. But it wasn't just the offense that turned the tide. How about the old man yelling at the clouds? Good old bitter Draymond Green. He put on an absolute defensive clinic once again, completely suffocating the assassin Kawhi Leonard and holding him scoreless in the fourth quarter until they were barely 20 seconds left on the clock, and it didn't matter anyway. And let's not forget about old man Al Horford. The veteran big man turned back the clock and stepped up to drain huge shots, and I mean huge shots from behind the arc right when Golden State needed them the most. It takes a locker room full of seasoned killers, veteran killers to pull off a comeback like that. And even without guys like KD or Jimmy Butler walking through that door, these playoff Warriors are still one of the most lethal yet entertaining teams to watch in a very, very long time, because we only have so many of these moments left, Donnie, before this core rides off into the sunset. So in a league filled with a bunch of coddled superstars who are too busy taking their load management, and you never know whether they'll deliver when the lights are the brightest, Donnie, I think we better appreciate this core while we can, because it won't last forever.
Exactly, and appreciating the time that we have in the playoffs where every game matters, and these players like, oh, I actually do get paid to play this basketball game. I will play hard for the fans, and we can all sit back and enjoy, because we were questioning what's it going to look like for Steph Curry coming back to Golden State, minutes restriction. Yeah, he looked just fine yesterday, and maybe Golden State can surprise a few teams out west. And away we go, Joe, into the hottest topics across the sports landscape, the early lineup, Live Golf. Joe, a lot of rumors coming out yesterday. Hey, we're in Mexico City. Will we play this tournament? Will we be done after this tournament? Where is Live Golf going to be? And their CEO comes out and like, hey, there's no changes, man. Full throttle Live Golf. I don't know how much we're buying into that one, though.
Well, I mean, listen, I mean, it's nice of them to say that they won't be shutting down and that 2026 will be completed, even though we're all hearing that the funding from Saudi Arabia will likely be coming to an end sooner rather than later. But hey, listen, now the PGA Tour has got to figure out, what do we do with these guys now? Do we welcome them back? Do we make them do push-ups and burpees? Like what's going to be the prerequisite to get back on the PGA Tour?
Here's the prerequisite. They give a standing ovation to the live golfers and welcome them back with open arms. And you know what? Give them bonuses for coming back by going, you know what? When you guys left, we were angry. And all of a sudden, we realized our purses doubled and tripled, and the amount of money we make now astronomically higher than just about 5 years ago. They should be welcomed back as conquering heroes, just like in free agency when it first came in Major League Baseball and the NFL. At first, hey, man, you're upsetting the apple cart trying to be a free agent. Oh, no, I'm going to make 10 times the amount of the money I made a couple years ago. They should be welcomed back, Joe, with open arms here. LaMelo Ball, maybe not welcome back in open arms, at least in Miami. Tripgate here, $35,000 fine. You knew they weren't going to suspend this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, also hit him in the wallet, didn't it? $35,000 for the for that tripping play there. And you had to know it was coming because it was so ridiculously blatant. And then he gets up to the mic and actually admits to it because he was hitting the head after the game, Donnie. You knew there was going to be an envelope in that dressing room at some particular point.
I guess that's the way you got to do it. Like, if you commit a heinous act on the court, just say you bumped your head, you had no idea what you're doing. You won't get suspended, you'll pay a fine, and you'll move on. Maybe that's the new blueprint here. Asia Wilson signs the WNBA's largest contract and stays out in Vegas with the Aces.
Yeah, I mean, is that
Supermax.
A shock? No. I mean, of course, like, pay the best players in the league and make sure you lock them up, and that's exactly what they did with Asia Wilson here. Well-deserved there. If anybody deserves it, Asia Wilson does.
3 years ago, Joe, in the Philadelphia area, Kevin McGonigal was playing in the Catholic League. A few years later, he's getting $150 million deposited into his account. And how about this deal here? Extends him out, buys out his arbitration. It's a big bet on both McGonigal and also the Detroit Tigers. But let's just say he was a superstar and could have made a little bit more money. Boy, that's financial security, Joe, right off the bat for 8 years for the 21-year-old.
Well, we just saw this, right, with the kid from Pittsburgh and Connor. We're seeing this. It's the wave of the future. To lock these kids up while you can. Avoid the whole arbitration thing. Just pay them now, because if they're as good as you think they are, it's going to cost you a whole lot down the road. So lock them up while you can. It's a good move.
It's like an insurance actuary is what they're doing. Like, hey, this kid's going to be good. We'll save money on the back end. We'll give him some money now. Everybody's going to be happy. And also, no longer of, hey, this guy's the best player in our organization right now, but we don't want to bring him up for 2 or 3 years because then we have to pay him a little bit earlier. Thank goodness. Bring the kids up if they can play and pay them here. The NFL, how about this? NBC could be out on rights to the NFL. They've been an institution, Joe.
Well, listen, they welcome back to NBA, right? So even if NBC loses the NFL, I think the NBA has been a fantastic investment for them moving forward.
What's the statement that Amazon had to give out because they can't keep up with their own coverage, Joe? Did you like the statement they gave?
No. Oops, like somebody unplugged, what's that scene from Airplane, right? Like somebody absolutely like unplugged the runway lights. Is that what happened? Somebody hit the wrong button in the truck. Stop it.
Hey, how about, did you hear this one before? Let's come up with an idea for collegiate athletics where they get 5 years to play 4 here. That makes a lot of sense. Where have we heard that before, Joe?
Shocking. I mean, sometimes the common sense is just, it's overbearing. I don't know what to say to it, Donnie, but wasn't that always the rule, or should have been the rule? Like, now they're making it seem like, oh, God, we just came up with this. No, you haven't. It's been around forever. Just stick to it. That's all.
By the way, and if you're in Mississippi or Alabama, it doesn't matter anyway. You just get a judge that went to your school, and you get 10 years to play here. So away we go on a Thursday morning. Come back after the break. You don't want to miss it. Spread lines that you need to know on a Thursday. And by the way, the RBC, Joe, tees it up in about 30 minutes right now. So you see Scotty Scheffler and the boys post Masters. Who's going to win that? And also an elevated competition level with higher purses. Thank you to Live Golf. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the games you need to know tonight. And also, win and go home. Back-to-back edition tonight, Joe. You know, we're going to start down in Orlando. And you say to yourself, wait a second, man. Orlando just played the Philadelphia 76ers last night. They lost. Now they're going to take on the Charlotte Hornets. Opening line, -4. Road team Hornets. Total in this game, 218.5. We'll see if any changes are made throughout the day. But that game's going to tip at 7:30, Joe. What's the spread line tonight? Do or die. Winner advances. Loser goes home.
Orlando, that was so bad last night. I mean, Orlando, no Embiid. They had the size advantage. They could have literally scored in the paint at any time they wanted, Donnie. And they're taking these ridiculous jump shot three-point that went, 4 of 27 from three? It's hilarious how ridiculously bad coach this team truly is here. And no. I don't think they're going to beat Charlotte because Charlotte can do one thing a Orlando Magic can't, and that is score. And score they will, likely, in this game here. They just can't be. You don't know who's going to show up with Orlando. Makes it very difficult to count on them. They have been better at home, but something tells me Charlotte has enough offense and an ability to outshoot Orlando any night of the week.
Yeah, by the way, this game is going to take place Friday at 7:30, not tonight. And by the way, that is a stone-cold Charlotte Hornets line here. If you're giving them a 4-point advantage as the road team here, we'll see how it plays out. Game number 2 on Friday night, a doubleheader, 10 o'clock. Out on the West Coast, the Golden State Warriors. You just saw Steph Curry dropping 35 points yesterday. They're going to take on the Phoenix Suns. This line opened up, Joe, -2.5-point favorite here for Phoenix. Still sits today at -2.5, and another low total of 217.5. Friday night's doubleheader, game number 2, Warriors-Suns. What's the spread line for you, Joe?
Well, I mean, does it really matter who wins this game because they have to go to OKC? So, but listen, if there's a team that I think can actually hang with OKC, maybe it's Steph Curry and the boys. I mean, Porzingis delivered last night. They all delivered. And Phoenix, listen, Phoenix has not been good down the stretch here. The last month of the season has been terrible for the Phoenix Suns, and they got beat again at home versus the Portland Trailblazers, who are a mediocre 500 team. If they thought they saw a lot of threes being chucked up with Portland, wait until they get a load of what the Golden State Warriors are going to do. And there lies the problem. The greatest three-point shooter in the world is about to come to your building, and 3 is more than 2, Donnie, and nobody shoots them better than the Golden State Warriors.
The ultimate equalizer is the three-point line. Get hot. You can beat anybody. You can upset anybody. We'll see if Steph Curry, and by the way, the NBA would love Steph Curry into the playoffs and also probably would like the Charlotte Hornets as well in the playoffs, playing a fun brand of basketball here. Those are the doubleheaders that we just talked about on Friday night. Let's get over some Major League Baseball today, Joe, particularly in the afternoon today. Kansas City on the road to take on Detroit. Don't look now. Detroit's actually won 5 games in a row. The lefty on the mound for Kansas City is going to be Bubic. Kiter Montero, the right-handed pitcher, is going to be on the mound today for those Tigers. Overnight, roughly a pick'em, Joe. -115s, -116s, -112s out there in the betting landscape. Still currently sits at that respect right now. 8s for the totals today, Joe. Kansas City and a red-hot Detroit Tigers team.
Yeah, well, listen, Bubic is a guy that can stop you, that's for sure. And they're going to need him to do just that because the Royals are hemorrhaging. But Montero, listen, kind of a 5th starter, guy that didn't start the year on the roster, got called up. But certainly in 2 starts already, Donnie's been pretty decent. So, and the way the Royals are swinging the bat, there's no reason to think that Montero can't dominate here. It does feel like in a getaway day, Donnie, this is definitely an under, and it looks like it's going to be a cold day at Comerica, so I wouldn't be expecting a ton of runs in this game.
Take a look at Baltimore and Cleveland. Boz will be on the mound taking on Messick, the left-handed pitcher. Overnight, we're looking at around a -135 price as the favorite to the home team Guardians, Joe. Slightly less now, 125s and 126s here in the sports landscape, but a total that's listed at 8. Weather conditions for 6 p.m. tonight in Cleveland, 65 degrees with a light wind blowing out to right field. Guardians and the Orioles, Joe. Any spread line for you in this one?
The advantage Guardians here, Donnie, because the O's, emptied the bullpen yesterday. Another extra inning game they had to deal with. I think they used 5 relievers in that spot. Then they had to hop on a plane and head to the Guardians right now, who are a little feisty there right now. And Messick has been a pleasant surprise for the Guardians. The Guardians lost the series to the Cardinals, but they're going to be more than happy to get home and take on listen, Baz better go 7-8 innings because that bullpen is shot right now for the O's. I think it's big advantage Guardians here in this one.
Late night action, which actually isn't too late night tonight. The latest game on the card, an 8:40 p.m. Eastern start. That's going to be Seattle and San Diego. Castillo's going to be on the mound, the veteran righty for the Mariners, going up against Walker Buehler. Buehler hasn't been that good for the Padres, but I'll tell you this, 7 games in a row, win streak for those San Diego Padres on the line tonight. If you take a look at the overnight numbers, around a minus 115 price as the favorite towards the road team Mariners, Joe. But now we're seeing that price slightly higher at roughly minus 120 at just about every outlet here. And a total that's listed at 8.5. Red hot San Diego back in action tonight against the M's.
Absolutely epic meltdown by the Mariners bullpen last night, who entered the 9th inning, Donnie, with a 4-run lead. They gave up 5 runs to the Padres in the bottom of 9th, and Jackson Merrill walks it off to cap that 5-run 9th inning, and the Padres beat the Mariners 7-6. Now they're going to go at it again. The bullpen of the Mariners is in bad shape right now, Donnie. A lot of arms had to be used in this series. And right now, who's stepping in front of this Padres train? Not me.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on across Major League Baseball. And if you haven't been paying attention here, those New York Metropolitans, they've lost 8 games in a row. And it's always tough when you start that losing streak, then go into Los Angeles and absolutely get manhandled. But there are some teams that are streaking, as we just talked about, 7 straight wins for the San Diego Padres, just trying to keep close to those Los Angeles Dodgers. Other outlets here, you got 5 games in a row for the Detroit Tigers that we talked about, and 5 wins in a row, Joe. Don't look now for the Tampa Bay Rays that are still about a 10-1 price, depending where you're shopping at, to win their division. Everybody threw the Rays away to start the season. They currently sit in first place in the AL East. How about that? And how about Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri on a Thursday action-packed show on the early line? And we'll be right back in. Some NBA news and notes and a look back at last night. But did you know LeBron James? It feels like he's been playing since 1980. But how about this tweet from DraftKings yesterday? LeBron James has played against 36% of all players in NBA history, Joe. Not the past 5 years, not the past 10 years, not the past history of the NBA. LeBron has basically played against a third of all players. How about that stat?
That's he's been around for a few minutes, it sounds like here, Donnie, right? It's my goodness. But listen, when you have that kind of career, right? I guess you've been hanging around for a little while. Now the question is, does he add to that next year? Is my question here. Is he going to continue to end up facing the next generation, or is this going to be it, the last hurrah here for LeBron James?
Now, that's verifiable, where you can go back in history and do the numbers and the math, and it probably checks out correctly. I'm going to bring up another article right now that you can't check, and you just have to take the words for it from the NBA itself. Yahoo Sports tweets out, the NBA experienced its highest regular season viewership in 24 years. So you see the stat line, 170 million viewers, and it says up 86% from last year. What does that mean, Joe? That if it was on my screen for a second, yep, that's a viewer. Did you go on Twitter and scroll through looking for a latest food joint and you passed over an NBA tweet? You watched the game at this point. There is no way, shape, or possibility that 170 million viewers and you're up 86% when this game is in the absolute toilet and the lowest verification possible, where you're saying to yourself is, oh, NBA, yeah, we'll believe you on that. Wink, wink.
Well, I mean, take those numbers with a grain of salt, but I do think, Donnie, putting it back on broadcast television and NBC, where the games are more accessible now for people to actually watch instead of having to thumb around and try to figure out what's going on and does my cable package have TNT or might have had a little something to do with an increase in viewership as well.
Yeah, exactly. Also, the ratings bump as well. But I got an oceanfront property to sell you right in the middle of Nebraska if you believe that the NBA is up 86% in a horrendous, boring regular season. Yeah, go buy that property in Nebraska right now. Let's get over to the Philadelphia 76ers last night, Joe. 109-97 victory over the Orlando Magic, which saw Mr. Maxey drop 31 points here. Sixers move on. They'll play Boston. Orlando back into the knockout stage, Joe.
But imagine having a chance, Donnie, to go to actually be in the playoffs. This is how bad the bottom half of the NBA is. And you only score 42 points in the second half. 42 points they scored in the second half against the Sixers. And needless to say, now they have to beat another team if they're going to make it into playoffs. And something tells me that is likely not going to get it done.
Let's hear from Nick Nurse post-game.
What does it mean to you to make the playoffs after the way last season went?
Yeah, it's good. I think, like I told the guys, I'm proud of them. There's many times this year I've told them I'm proud of them for kind of continuing to pick themselves up and keep playing, right? And this was another example tonight with some stakes and some pressure. But I think, again, we played extremely hard. I thought we made a lot of winning plays. And of course, to get in the playoffs, it's kind of go back to the opening press conference of the year. I said, we got a really, really big hole to dig out of, and we want to get in the tournament somehow. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty, but we're here now, and now we got to see what we can do with it.
You mentioned Friday your backs are up against the wall now. It's going to go home in this elimination game. You've been saying taking it one game at a time this whole time, but
this is literally it. This is it. One game at a time, and this is the one game that we've got to make sure we go home and take care of. And our fans are going to be there ready to go, supporting us, and as we make sure we take care of home.
Game number 2 last night, Joe. The Warriors 126-121 over the Clippers. The Warriors were down at the break, but Steph Curry drops 35 points in that game. And understand this, we always talk about the three-point shot, Joe, being the ultimate equalizer. 19 triples made last night by the Warriors. They shot 46% behind the arc in the victory.
Yeah, and it didn't look good early, Donnie, because, Steph Curry looked like he had missed, 2 months of the season there down the stretch. But boy, oh boy, when it came crunch time, guess who showed up, Donnie? And not just him, the other old guys on the team showed up when they needed him the most, too. Shocker.
How about some old guys like Brook Lopez and Kawhi Leonard weren't able to show up, and the Clippers are going home without a playoff appearance this season, but maybe Kawhi can take a little bit more time off. They can retool. They got a multi-billion-dollar owner. What's he going to do? The Intuit Dome, and away it is. But Golden State moves forward. I got to tell you, the NBA's got to like that too. Keep Steph around longer. By the way, did you know Steph Curry sold the most jerseys in the NBA last year? The man's old as dirt. Still one of the NBA highlights here. We'll be right back. How do you win 7 games in a row, Joe? Well, sometimes you need to have some comebacks. Sometimes you need some extra victories and a few walk-offs to be in your back pocket. Yesterday, the Padres knocked off the Mariners 7-6. And here's Jackson Merrill talking about his post-game walk-off.
Jackson, a comeback for the ages. What just happened?
I mean, that's our team right there. You don't see anything like that around the league. We got all that heart, all that grit. That was just exciting.
Lefty on lefty, 2 strikes on you. How did you shoot it down the line?
Just stay short, stay tight, Put the bat on the ball. It's tough lefty. Just try to get a good pitch to hit, and he gave me one.
Down by 4, one of the best closers in the game on the mound, and Andres Munoz. What did you see from your at-bats in that 9th inning?
Yeah, man, we gave it all we had. A lot of 2 strikes in that inning, I think I'm one of the only people that didn't get 2 strikes with Ramon. So, shout out Toddy coming off the bench, getting a sac fly, getting us started, gave us some momentum. We didn't look back.
7 wins in a row. You guys continue to roll. What's going so right for this team right now?
I mean, there's so much heart in that clubhouse. We love each other like there's nothing else. So many brothers. I feel like the team's all one piece, and that's the most important part of us.
You've had a lot of big moments in the early part of your major league career. Where does this one rank?
It's up there, man. I mean, being down like that and coming back and getting the winning hit, I can't take all the credit though. That was a beautiful game, beautiful, hard-fought game, and shout out to our team, shout out to the guys.
Jackson, what a rally, what a moment, what an ending. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
By the way, here's what I need from this kid. I don't need the clip being run again. Can you just put up a picture of Jackson Merrill talking to the reporter after the game? Can you just put that up on the screen, Joe? Because I got a question for you, which I think is pretty funny if we can find that. There it is. It's going to pop up in a second here. Look at the microphone. What are there explicit lyrics on the microphone, Joe, that we can't read? Offensive?
No comment, Donnie. No comment. How windy is it? I'm just
Hey.
curious. In San Diego, I have no idea what's going on with that, Donnie. No
I didn't
idea
hear a
what's
word
going
he
on with
said,
that.
Joe. I just looked at the microphone the entire time and said, boy, oh boy, somebody doesn't want to get that out
I
there.
wouldn't
into
have
the
talked
atmosphere at
into
this
it. If
point.
I'm Jackson Merrill, I'm like, get that, absolutely not. Get that thing out of my face. Thanks. Take your windscreen
Never
here.
cease to
My
amaze me, Major League
goodness.
Baseball. Fantastic stuff. By the way, the Texas Rangers, a little bit of controversy here, Joe. The Rangers have unveiled a controversial new statue modeled after Jay Banks, a former Texas law enforcement officer known for enforcing school segregation. How about that from the Athletic yesterday?
Yeah, I believe somebody's losing their job today, Donnie. That's what I'm believing. Just self-awareness is sometimes just absolutely lacking across the board here in these spots. It's amazing to me.
By the way, I'm pretty sure that they didn't make the statue yesterday and just put it up hastily out of nowhere. It's probably in the works for like
Just
years at this point. So go figure,
ridiculous.
Major League Baseball. You got a headache on your hands with that one here. Jeff Passan, how about this tweet? The Major League Baseball Players Association fired Chief Operating Officer Xavier James and its head of human resources, Michael O'Neill, with cause, Joe, which means they don't want to get paid. The firings came after an internal investigation spurred by the DOJ looking into the MLBPA. Not a good look, with a lot of upheaval in the players union before the biggest contract negotiations you might see in your lifetime in Major League Baseball coming up this December.
Wait, so you're telling me all that unions are corrupt? Come on.
Yeah.
Are you telling me the people who are supposed to be taking care don't take that's a shocker, Donnie. Almost never hear of that with unions ever.
Expansion, Joe, on the minds in the NBA and just about everywhere else. Why? Because sometimes it's not good for the sport, other than you telling me you're going to give me an extra couple $100 million in my back pocket as an owner and I don't have to do anything for it here? Yeah, how about this? Breaking news. Mayor Ken Sim is calling for the launch of a bidding process to bring Major League Baseball expansion to Vancouver. We see an opportunity to position Vancouver as the next home for a Major League Baseball franchise here, Joe. Money talks. BS walks. Do we think Vancouver will be able to get a Major League Baseball team?
Listen, it's a beautiful city, man. Our own Gabe Morency is there, right? And I mean, hey, it's a sports town, believe it or not. I mean, they've been trying to get a team back to Montreal forever, right? Get another team to Canada. Why not Vancouver? Although it's gonna be interesting watching the Marlins fly to Vancouver to play a 3-game set. That'll be interesting.
How about this next one, Joe? You're going to like this here, right? Steve Cohen's got more money than just about anybody here. And it turns out you can't just buy your way into relevancy in Major League Baseball and win playoff series and world championships here. I read this tweet the other day, and also, like, if I'm a fan and I see the owner tweet this out late at night, I'm getting pretty fired up. He quotes here, Joe. Nobody likes to lose, but I saw some, quote, green shoots tonight, which I have no idea what that means. On offense, Lindor had 2 hits, including a home run. And by the way, that was a game where they scored 1 run, and the owner's like, hey, man, saw some good things out there amidst our almost double-digit losing streak now.
Amazing, right? Like everyone settle down. It'll be fine. Just have some patience with. Yeah, no. You want New York Met fans to have patience. That's hilarious. Yeah, not good. Not good at all, Donnie. And can we be honest? I don't think it's getting better anytime soon either.
No, probably not at this point. But by the way, the money, hey, we have a 2-for-1 ticket price package with hot dogs here. Come out and enjoy the ballpark. Stop it here. Just put a team on the field that those fans can actually get excited for. Yes, or maybe win once a week, Joe, at this point for the Mets. That's all they're asking for at this point. Red Sox Jaron Duran, if you haven't been following along, how about this story? Quote, somebody just told me to kill myself. I'm used to it at this point. I mean, blank happens. I mean, I'm going to flip somebody off if they say something to me, but it is what it is. I shouldn't react like that, but that kind of stuff is still kind of triggering, so it happens. Now, most people sit back and say, you're used to it, you're a pro, shut it off. Let me tell you this. I don't know how many times you would walk down the street or be at your job where you are getting heckled here and you might be upset because you're struggling at the plate and you snap at this point. Humans are humans. They say vile things to other human beings. You try to be on your best, but every once in a while, Joe, it just gets to you.
It really does, Donnie. And these guys, listen, I mean, they are front and center, right? They're going to take everybody's anger across the board here. And it's just, sometimes it gets to you. You've got to have some thick skin to be a player here in this day and age. Although I don't know that that's changed over the years, Donnie. I think you always have had to have some thick skin and be able to tune it out.
You need some thick skin if you're walking around Philadelphia, particularly post-COVID. Used to be Center City, Philadelphia. You can walk around, you can get a nice meal. Not really the case at some points right now. And how about this? An umpire working the Arizona Diamondbacks Philadelphia Phillies series was assaulted and robbed and his phone stolen. Took a couple punches here. But how about this? He didn't miss any time. He got robbed, assaulted, and stolen from. Still showed up for work, Joe.
That's it. Yeah, all the day. No load management, Danny? Is that not how it works? No load management. Just show up, get it done, right? You're not keeping me for amazing, that kind of work ethic. Shocker.
By the way, sometimes like, hey, man, if you're going to steal my wallet, just take the money out of it and give me back the credit cards and the license because it's such a pain in the neck to get it done. I can't imagine. Like, I've never lost. Have you lost a cell phone, Joe, before? Like stolen or just lost it at all? I've never. I would be in full-blown panic mode. Like my entire life has just been thrown away. There's never. I'm not going to remember phone numbers at this point. I'm not going to remember text messages or anything that I have there. Have you ever had that before or no?
I have had, Donnie, where I thought I have lost my phone. And the sheer panic and, the ripping out of the guts and the hole in your stomach for that brief moment while you're trying to figure out where it is. Then you eventually feel it and you're like, all right, I got to take the rest of the day off. Like this was too much. This was just way too traumatic here. But yeah, no, I've never actually had to go through replacing the phone, but I have lost it at moments and it's been scary.
Yeah. Somebody call my cell phone here, and then it's like, yeah, you have your ringer off. Like, good luck trying to go find that at this point.
Yes.
I had it with wallets as well, Joe. It's like, hey, you know what? I have my wallet, my console. I thought I put it here. You walk around the house for 15 minutes, then you're like, I lost my wallet. I have 3 credit cards in there, 2 debit cards. You have to replace it all. They're going to cancel my checking accounts, and then when you find it, it's like the greatest day of your life. Like, oh my goodness, thank God that wasn't gone at this point. But hey. If you're an umpire, watch out in Center City, Philadelphia. Now, sometimes you might think like the umpire leaving the ballpark itself. You're like, hey, we're going to come beat you up because you had a bad game. Like, no, dude, he's just trying to get a bite to eat. And a rando comes by, sneaks him, knocks him down, and steals his cell phone. But he still showed up to work. He's an American hero right there. We'll be back after this short break.
So true.
Not all these kids, but the majority of these kids in the top 10 have had things handed to them since they're in 3rd grade because they're special athletically. And the fact that they get humbled a little bit, I'm here for the humbling. I've been humbled. I like when other people get humbled.
But you were humbled later.
Yeah.
You weren't humbled at 22 in front of the world.
No.
You were a grown-ass man.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Process is closed. Let's call it out for this, right? And is it their fault? You could argue, they've been just besieged at Embiid, but it just continues, Kevin, right? As soon as he's like, don't worry about my health, and then here we are, right? I would have traded him a couple of years ago. I would have gotten ahead of the curve, Kevin.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
There is one cardinal rule in sports media. You do not mess with the game or the ability for people to watch the game. These streaming giants better figure out how to deliver a live sporting event without any hitches, because broadcast television understood this for decades, and they know, Donnie, hey, there is nothing more important.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go back in time, Joe. You know me. I love to be the fashion police here. I love to call out things I don't like and also give some extra bonus points to things that I think look great. You know, we were talking about just the other day with some of these City Connect jerseys in Major League Baseball, and I look over and say, I don't like this one, but you know what? That Atlanta one, I don't like Atlanta. That's a fresh uniform. That looks really good. So now we go back in time, and let's just go, Joe, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. The Washington Redskins here. Iconic uniform. But apparently we weren't able to call them the Redskins anymore. They went for a transformation. They called themselves the football team for like 2 years, which was ridiculous, under the worst ownership group probably we've ever seen in Daniel Snyder. Fast forward to today. They have a rebranding there. So when they were the Commanders, I didn't mind the name, but then I said to myself, Joe, that is the stupidest helmet I've ever seen in my life. Now, granted, maybe they don't want to put the old Redskins logo back on the helmet, even though the Florida State Seminoles can have an active, Seminole Indian running around with a spear that's on fire and slam it into, the middle of the field with a horse that he's riding. That's okay. Or you even take a look at the Chicago Blackhawks. Still have an Indian on their uniform, and apparently that's okay. But you can't do that in Washington. So what does Washington do, Joe? They put the stupidest logo I've ever seen in my life on a helmet that a 3-year-old with like MS Paint would just like put random W in there, and they put that on the helmet. So, Joe, I said to myself, all right, the rebrand, again, is officially coming under the new ownership group. I can't wait to see it. The uniforms, the coloring look spectacular. The helmet with the W on it, stupid. I give it an F for this rebrand because they had one job, to get the dumb W off the helmet, and they did not do it, Joe.
Again, Donnie, I'd like to know what the hierarchy of the decision-making was in that room when they figured that one out. Because you're right, you had one job and one job only, and they couldn't figure it out. But somebody had to sign off on that, Donnie. So I'm wondering who that genius was there in that room.
Like, Joe, just put the spear on the helmet, no W. It looks like a very quality uniform that I don't like that team because I'm an NFC East fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. Right. Put the spear on it without the W. It's a home run, and away we go. Like, sometimes, Joe, you have to like crowdsource things out and be like, hey, we're going to leak these uniforms that somebody's not supposed to have, but put it out there, and the public goes, that better not be the uniform. And then Washington goes, yeah, I don't know who leaked that. That was never going to be our uniform. Let's go back to the drawing board and find something here. You had one job, Washington, to remove the W, and now the people call it what, the taco holder is what they call it. Still on that helmet. It's an F. They're still going to be cursed, and away we go, Joe. Now, Tom Pelissero with a tweet here. The NFL informed clubs today that the league's officiating staff has begun onboarding potential replacement officials. We know how this worked in the past, not very well, but also, do the refs want to get paid like the players? Like, you're not part of the game. They get a fine salary already at their point, but the NFL is like, we're not bargaining anymore. We gave you a contract here. We think it's very good. You don't. Now we're going to put the pressure and say, we're bringing in replacement refs to replace you at your job.
Yeah, and if you don't think the NFL's already been spending money and testing the eye in the sky ref, you're out of your mind. So they better figure it out rather quickly, because quite honestly, you can have anybody running up and down there in a zebra uniform, and the calls, as long as you get them right and they're coming from above, the fans won't miss them at all.
I'm telling you, Joe, it's like sometimes you can sit on your couch and just watch the game on TV and be like, that defensive end just got held right there. What's the ref watching? Yep. Or that's pass interference. Or, yeah, that looked like a fumble. Look, NFL, come to me on a Sunday, plug me in, put it on my TV, what you're viewing. I will do a better job than the refs that are actually on the field at this point. The only tough ones would be like the sideline catches where you don't get a great angle and they're right there. But even at that, Joe, they still blow it 50% of the time. Replacement referees on the way. Let's see if the NFL is playing or they can call their bluff at this point. How about also calling the bluff in New York, Joe, the Big Apple? Dexter Lawrence says, you know what, man? I want to play here, but I want my money. And it looks like those contract talks have hit a wall. Some reports out there, Joe, as much as $10 million apart for Sexy Dexy and the Giants.
Again, this will all be settled after the draft. Once the Giants, you will know exactly whether Dexter Lawrence will remain a Giant or if, in fact, he will be wearing a different uniform there. And all of that will be decided once the draft is over, Donnie, because that is going to be the ultimate tell of what the Giants' direction is.
Next week, Joe, could we have that figured out, a lot of deals by next week before the NFL draft? We will find out. Let me understand this, Joe. This is your neck of the woods. When you look at NFL teams and you decide that we are ready to win now, so now you say, okay, we got our quarterback in place, we got our wide receivers, we're just missing a top running back. Let's pay that top running back, because that could be the difference in making the playoffs, a deep run in the playoffs, or winning a Super Bowl here. Case in point with the Philadelphia Eagles. We have a ready-built team. We just need one of the best running backs in football, Saquon Barkley. Yeah, it goes for 2,000 yards as an unbelievable season, and they win the Super Bowl. But it wasn't smart for Saquon Barkley. Same with the Giants all those years, because they stunk and they would just use you up and you would get injured. Now, fast forward to the Dolphins, Joe. Help me out here. Devon Achane is one of the best young running backs in the NFL. They are in an active reset where they won't be comparable to even make a playoff run for probably, Joe, at least 2 years. And when we get after those 2 and 3 years, Devon Achane is going to take a lot of hits there. The point is, why is he not being traded, which you could probably get very good compensation, and why would you pay him to a blockbuster deal when it's going to be nothing between your wins or losses and just a waste of a talent and wasted money here, Joe?
Because you have to sell to the fan base, Donnie, that, yes, even though we may be he's going to be a huge part of this future. It's not going to take us forever. We're close. We got the quarterback. We get it right. Yeah, they're just trying to sell it to lifelong Dolphin fans who are ready to cut the cord here and move on from the Dolphins.
But you can also sell too, Joe. We did it in Philadelphia for a long term. Did it mean a championship on the back end of the process? No, it didn't. But we actually took pride in being really bad because we understood the stakes. Like, if we sacrifice a couple years, we make the right draft picks here, we'll be on the ascension. And that's what I would be selling to Dolphin fans. Like, hey, come out to the ballpark and see Devon Achane play, and he might run for 100 yards, but we're going to beat 35-3 because we have nobody on defense, no quarterback, and no offense outside of him at this point. And I look at it and say, well, we can rebuild for the future, maybe get a second rounder or a third rounder for Achane and not pay that freight. And understand this, the Dolphins are paying some dude like $90 million to not be on their football team. Look at that. I'm already upset this morning. I love it. We'll be right back. RBC is going to take place this week, Joe. And by the way, talking with Cam yesterday, having a good time with that. It is interesting to me where it used to be a throwaway tournament. Now, not so much anymore. We're going to get to that tournament in just a few moments here because Scotty Scheffler is playing and he is the heavy favorite. But a tweet from Front Office Sports. For over a minute, CBS nor the millions tuning into the Masters knew where Rory McIlroy's shot ended up on the 18th hole. Front Office Sports spoke to TV insiders and experts who offered their theories on what went wrong during CBS's sports coverage of the final round of the Masters. Now, I missed this show. I was out at a birthday dinner where I saw in the background the TV, but I couldn't tell what was going on here. But I did hear the uproar, and how can you mess up that moment when everybody's tuning in just to see how the tournament is going to end?
Well, yeah, Rory didn't do him any favors because he shanked it. He left it, blocked himself out, and left the ball outright. He was almost into the 17th fairway. It took him about 5 minutes to clear a path of the spectators in order to be able to even try and work the shot. I mean, he had trees. It was a mess. And then he hits it, Donnie, and the cameras are just still sitting behind him. And then all of a sudden it goes to a shot at the green, but you don't see the ball. Like, you can't see the ball where all they did was watch Rory walk up the 18th fairway, and still we had no idea where I don't think they knew where the golf ball was until Rory walked over to the sand trap, and then they were like, oh yeah, here it is. There it is. It's right there. It was a good 2-3 minutes before anybody knew where his shot landed.
Kind of crazy, too, because, again, he had the two-shot lead coming into it, and they said that was one of the worst drives anybody's ever seen hit on 18 at this point. It would have been nice to see it in real time and get that follow-up, but leave it up to your only job, Joe, is actually cover the champion going up the 18th, and you seem to be messing that up at this point here. Maybe they'll get better next year at that, but Rory still run the Masters, and away we go into this week's RBC. Scotty Scheffler. Currently right now, granted, he's not on the golf course yet, even though some guys are out there and a couple guys are at -1. He's a plus 390 to win this golf tournament. Second in line in the odds market, Schauffele, Fitzpatrick, Henley, Fleetwood, and Cameron Young. Scotty Scheffler, close but no cigar last week. Got a nice paycheck, but playing again this week down there in South Carolina.
Well, and he's won here before. So he won here a couple of years ago, and it's now one of the, it's another signature event on the PGA Tour with a $20 million purse. So you're going to get, doesn't matter if it's after the Masters or not, the top guys are not missing a $20 million opportunity here, and that's what they're looking at. So, and it's a shot maker's course. You got to love it. I mean, they added some yardage to it. It's a beautiful golf course. 17 and 18th are the two toughest holes, which makes this fun because usually when you get to 18, it's like, well, if you're 2 shots ahead, it's over. It's an easy 8. No, not here. 7 and 18 are absolutely brutal. But 20 under usually wins this tournament. The first one to 19 or 20 under in over the last couple of years, that's what wins it. It's a birdie fest, and Scotty might just get off the schneid here and get it done, but again, you're looking at 21, 22 under, likely the winner here, Donnie, not some sort of, struggle 7 and 8 under. No. It's a signature event where you're going to have to make 3,000 birdies to win it.
By the way, an absolutely beautiful golf course in an awesome area of this country. I've been to Hilton Head Island, a really cool spot here. I was able to walk that golf course. Very small greens, obviously very cool with the iconic lighthouse here, and Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. Now, one thing we always know about Scotty Scheffler is it doesn't matter how many shots he's down, as you saw in the Masters, he's going to turn it up on the weekend and almost had a comeback for the ages at the Masters last week. He's the favorite this week to win the golf tournament. Joe, also the favorite after one round, I should say, to be the leader in the clubhouse. He's plus 1,100, followed by Schauffele and Cameron Young. Does that seem like a bet that's worthwhile? You just go and say, hey, you know what? I hope Scotty shoots -2 today and is 5 shots back. Then you take him to win the tournament.
Yeah, that's been the MO so far for him, right?
Yeah.
It's slow starts, and then, hopefully you can get him at a better price, but I don't know. Listen, he has been working in a new driver. He's been working in a new addition to the family over the last month and a half. So it looks like he finally figured some things out there, certainly on the weekend at the Masters. Wouldn't shock me if that carries over here to this tournament and he goes wire to wire.
Next month, Joe, the PGA Championship. Never too early to look at the odds market there, particularly on our predictive markets, which is Kalshi. And take a look at this. Scotty Scheffler, 18% chance to win the PGA Championship next month. And, of course, Rory right behind him and Bryson DeChambeau. Is he going to be a PGA Tour golfer? Is he a live golfer at that point? He's at around 6% there. But Scotty always plays the favorite, Joe.
Well, you better bet him now in that market, because if he wins at Harbortown, that you ain't getting that price anymore.
Is Rory, by the way, taking off the next 4 tournaments to play the PGA Tour course here? Maybe. We'll be back. Hour number 2. It's Thursday. It's hour number 2. It's the early line. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe Ranieri. More fun coming this way in this hour. Absolutely. Prediction Markets Edge. That's coming up in about a half hour to give you that latest look at where you can invest your money in the stock market capabilities that you just might have in yes contracts and no contracts. Also, next segment coming up, it's Kevin Walsh, host of Game Time Decisions, to join us and talk a little NBA action with the Sixers moving forward and also get a glimpse of what's going to take place Friday night with that doubleheader. But also, Joe, topics, and more topics. That's what we bring to the people right now.
A lot going on here, Donnie, as we got playing games in the NBA. And don't forget, last couple of NHL games taking center stage here, I believe, tonight. And then this weekend, get ready. We got NHL Stanley Cup playoff hockey with a lot of new names and faces, by the way, playing this year.
Let's go Flyers. Oh, I can't wait. We're going to watch playoff hockey. Unbelievable. I can't wait to watch it there. Sid the Kid coming back to town. Crosby sucks. The chants will be echoing across the Xfinity Mobile Arena, Joe. But let's get to the hottest topics across the sports landscape, which deals with live golf here, Joe. Now, understand this. Rich people do like to spend money, but rich people don't like to spend enough money where it's like, well, am I getting anything eventually back on this? No, you're probably not. Word was starting to swirl yesterday about meetings between Live Golf's ownership groups and also some of the benefactors that tie into it. And apparently, they're still going to go on because we were thinking yesterday, Joe, there might be a press conference. Hey, by the way, we're going to play this tournament in Mexico, and then it's a wrap at this point, only to come out with a solid front by saying, nah, it's full gas for the rest of this year. So let me ask you this question. What did you make of what we heard yesterday and also the future possibly of Live Golf?
Well, I think you know the future, Donnie, but this didn't just happen, right? Because the minute that you know, Brooks Koepka is not an idiot, guys. Most of these guys understand and know the writing was on the wall, and Brooks was just smart enough to be like, yeah, I'm good. You know, timing is everything, right? I took the money. And now my contract's coming up, and I already know this is folding, so see you later. And everyone else, too. I mean, if DeChambeau and Rahm weren't under contract for the end of this year, they already would have left here because everybody knows that it's coming to an end, but so do the backers, Donnie, and I think that's the most important thing.
It was ambitious with what they were trying to do, a World Golf League, but just the way they went about it was really too much of a difference. It's like saying, you know what, Joe, we're going to have the USFL or the UFL, whatever it might be. We're going to rival the NFL, but we're going to change the game so it doesn't appear right. Like, oh, we're going to start the game in the third quarter, finish the fourth quarter, then go back to the first and the second. You say, Donnie, what does that mean? Like, the whole point of golf is we understand how it actually plays out. Once you get to the weekend, Joe, the guys with the best scores, they're going to start last, and that's the design on Sunday, to have the final groups here being in the championship lead so you can watch it play out. In Live Golf, like shotgun start, like he's on hole 4, but he's going to finish on hole 7. You couldn't follow along. Therefore, it was like, you know what, I'll just go back to the PGA Tour, even if I don't like some of the players here. It was an ill-thought-out thing, could have worked, but honestly, as we talked about, Joe, in hour number 1, the one thing Live Golf did, made the PGA players a lot of money in new purses. That's something they can certainly hold up. LaMelo Ball, I don't know if he's persona non grata down in South Florida, but certainly he's not well liked here. Tripping up Bam Adebayo early in that game. Bam stays out. They win. And he's like, all I got to do is pay about a $60,000 fine to help my team win. I got millions in the bank. I'll pay that fine.
Yeah, I mean, flagrant foul, $35K they're paying. And he admitted to it. I mean, don't ever admit to anything. You could have just stuck with, I don't know what happened, man. I got hit in the head. But you're apologizing, telling everyone you're going to call him to see if he's okay. Like, yeah, no, you knew that was coming down, man. No way around it at that point.
No way around it at that point. By the way, the WNBA players, they had a pretty good CBA. They're making more money now. And how about this? A'ja Wilson going to stay out there in Las Vegas with the Aces. About 3 years, Joe, $5 million. How about that? Supermaxes making their way to the WNBA.
Well, and there are a handful that absolutely deserve it, right? And A'ja Wilson is part of that group, right? 3 year, $5 million Supermax contract. Never thought... Just a couple of years ago, Don, I never thought that was ever the kind of money or numbers we'd be talking about for these players. But, yeah, very well worth it with A'ja Wilson.
Looks like we have a turning of the tide here in Major League Baseball, where not every organization's outside the Braves like, hey, you know what? Pay these good players early. We'll save on the back end. That's starting to catch on. Even the Pittsburgh Pirates are doing it, and so are the Detroit Tigers. How about this news story? Kevin McGonigal, 21 years old, Joe, going to get an 8-year extension for $150 million for the 21-year-old. Just a few short years ago, was in high school. Now looks like he's going to be a key building block on what the Tigers hopeful will be a World Series championship over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that's the move, Donnie. Lock him up now so you don't have to pay him ridiculous amounts of money later. And it's a good way. I mean, 8 years now, plus you send a message to the fan base where, listen, we're not just a minor league team here getting ready to groom these guys to go to the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox. There's investment happening here with the younger players, and that's a good thing in Major League Baseball.
Where are we going next, Joe, in the NFL? Is Tubi going to start charging money and say, you know what, we'll have an NFL game here that nobody will be able to find? When you know it used to be simple, Channel 3, Channel 6, Channel 10, one of those places is going to have this game. And NBC now looks like they might be the odd man out on a new package in the NFL. Say it ain't so, Joe.
Well, I mean, it's the highest bidder, right? It's very hard to afford both. You can't get the exclusivity to the NBA, pay for that, and then do the same thing for the NFL. I think NBA also saw the writing on the wall and was like, listen, if we had to pay, we'll go to the NBA, we'll take the NBA and the heck with the NFL. And that seems to be the direction that NBC is heading.
Amazon Prime says, Joe, we're sorry, man. Yeah, look, in the biggest moments of the game. By the way, what is this, an epidemic now, Joe? We take a look at the Masters, most important hole is the 18th. We can't get it right. And then we go to a play-in game where it's like, boop, pull the plug right here. And, oh, no, what's going on? Who won and what happened here?
Well, what happened was, once again, Donnie, there was an issue. And it was an issue last night, too, by the way, for about a 10 or 15 second where the whole screen, it just lost the feed. We didn't get the technical difficulties, but it happened during the Sixers game as well last night. So they better iron that stuff out, because I thought for sure we were going to get another technical difficulty sign last night during that.
The NIL, Joe, comes into college, and it's like, hey, this is awesome. And I explain it again. You know what? I went to Chipotle. They knew me in there. They said, you know what, Donnie, you could come back and get a burrito a day for the next 3 years while you're in college. Man, that's so great. I wasn't able to get any of these benefits in the past. Or, hey, man, you're a superstar locally. Let me give you this Mustang you can drive around and, just send a couple tweets out that says Johnson Ford, best place to buy your car at. And you can get paid for that and still play college football. Now the NIL era has turned into just pay to play, but also it's turned into, I usually only get 4 years to play. If I just go in front of a judge and say, Judge, I couldn't breathe in college my first 2 years. Can I get 2 more years at this point? They go, yeah, that makes sense. And all of a sudden you're like, well, why are these kids 25, 26, 27, 28 in their 8th and 9th years playing? And it's gotten out of control. And then the NCAA is like, why don't we just you can have 5 years to play 4? Didn't we do that before, Joe?
Yeah, well, don't worry, Donnie, because what's going to happen, for every action, there's a reaction, right? So guess what's going to happen? Now they're going to be signing kids in middle school and locking them up to come to their universe. So the NIL guys will be out in full force signing 13-year-olds. So this way they don't have to deal with it. It's just going to be the wild, wild west. Here we come. And you and I both know there are lawyers on retainer to fight to get those extra 7th, 8th, and 9th years of eligibility.
And also, like in the real world, like when you sign contracts, like in professional sports, it seems like it doesn't add up. Obviously, like LeBron James can't sign a 3-year deal with the Lakers. Be like, well, I'm just going to play for Arizona next year, Phoenix next year. You can't do that. But in college, it's like, all right, I'm going to sign that NIL. Awesome. We're going to give you $3 million. And you go on campus for 3 months and be like, I don't really like it here too much. I think we're going to go to Texas. And like, okay, well, you just ate $3 million and we can't even get this back. College sports, get it together, people. We're going to get it together next with who? It's Kevin Walsh, up early, joining us next. Back at it bright and early, the early line. Oh, it's a Thursday. We're almost to Friday. We almost got more NBA action that we can watch. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Flyers are in the playoffs. It's a good time right now. It's Donnie right side, it's Joe Ranieri. Now we're bringing Kevin Walsh. The good times continue today. And by the way, like I always say, we're all looking forward to the weekend. Busy weekend this weekend, Kevin, right? In sports at least, huh?
Yeah, no, listen, a busy weekend indeed. It's funny. DRS does like to sometimes figure out what like personal details he can tell.
Yeah.
I logged into Newswire this week, and apparently one of the main topics in sports was that I was getting married this weekend. So they catch someone out of the bag, Donnie. You're allowed to acknowledge that fact.
We are allowed to acknowledge that fact. We root for it. We're going to have a good time here. Some good topics of conversation will come out, and a good time had by all, Kevin. But if we do take a look at the sports landscape right now, all eyes focused on the NBA. Now, granted, we don't have any games today. True knockout games on Friday night, and then we start the full slate on Saturday and Sunday. And again, I'm going to tell you, Kevin, I hate the regular season. I love the playoffs, and Friday's going to be good, and it bleeds right into Saturday. Sixers and the Celtics, even without Embiid, I'm enjoying it here. But, Kevin, what did you see last night? The Golden State Warriors, the aging veterans, needed a big second half, and they got it from Steph Curry and the boys. They dropped 19 triples last night.
73 points in the second half. Steph had 8 points in the first half, 27 in the second, with 5 made threes, again, in that second half. But for the Clippers, it's completely unacceptable. I don't mean to take away from Golden State. A pair of first ballot Hall of Famers, and I know that means less in the NBA. I acknowledge that. But in Steph and Draymond, we're on full display in that basketball game. But the Los Angeles Clippers just lost to, look, I know we kind of poke and prod at the play-in. The Miami Heat have more wins than the Clippers. In that, the Warriors having 37 wins is a total outlier. You're like, it's because Steph wasn't around. I understand. It was a part of it. It's not like Steph would have made this a 50-win basketball team this year, though.
Yeah.
The Clippers defensively brought nothing to the table, and Kawhi Leonard completely checked out of that basketball game in the fourth quarter. His 2 points came with, 30 seconds to go on a let him have it dunk. It doesn't hurt us. And now we have this offseason where I wonder what changes come. How could Ballmer just let this roll? He traded 2 of his 3 best guys already during the season in Zubats and Harden. We don't know if there's some Kawhi suspension coming. I don't know. I guess Pablo Torre will break that before anybody else. Kawhi Leonard, there's some of the clips are going on. Kawhi Leonard showed up after winning a championship in Toronto and was supposed to win championships, plural, with the Los Angeles Clippers. He himself has never played in the conference finals for the Clippers, and everyone goes, oh, Kawhi, if only he was healthy. Never Kawhi's fault, I'm sure.
The best part of the Clippers losing, Kev, is the fact that it gave a lottery pick to OKC. So now OKC has an opportunity, 7%, right. I think, 7.1% of jumping into the top 4 in this one. And you got to be in it to win it. Could very well get the number 1 pick as well. You got to love it here.
Well, what's even better, Joe, is Adam Silver is right now looking around the NBA going, do you know what would be just fantastic if, in order to stop tanking in the future, this situation, the Thunder would have even better odds to win the lottery. You know what would be good? If somehow the Thunder had the same odds to win the lottery as the Wizards. Yeah, yeah, that would be great. No, that would be, and let's add 2 more teams to the league. That would be so good. Awesome. Absolutely. Like, the play-in games are fantastic also because we have like teams playing one another in these elimination games, right? And I know what's going to happen is I'm going to check back in here in, about a week and a half, and the Thunder are going to beat some team by 45 points. I'm like, should we cancel the first round of the NBA playoffs? They're going to, it's just crazy. It's so bad.
Yep.
Now, is there some truth to this, Kevin, that the NBA's first round is so long that Joel Embiid will be able to be back sometime between games 2 and 3 after getting an appendectomy here at this point?
Don, I love the question. I also love I love the conspiracies going on right now because they're like, you know what, man? Look at the league cooking the schedule for Lakers Rockets to get Luka back. And then I'm looking at it, it's like they're playing on the same schedule pattern basically as the Raptors Cavs series. I'm like, oh, who are they cooking for there? Who is, Emmanuel quickly much needed to get back? Like, the playoffs are long. Game 1 for this Rockets-Lakers series is on Saturday, and if it goes 7, it's May 3rd. And that's what we talked about with Luka. It's relevant for Embiid, Donnie, right? Is if the other guys can keep this thing afloat, it's not off the board that Joel Embiid comes back. It's not. I mean, I don't think it is.
Oh, he'll be back sooner rather than later. But now that we've got the leftovers getting ready to play here, what gives? I mean, who do we trust least here moving forward in these with these 4 teams?
So I think I'll likely be on the Suns against the Warriors. Again, it's no disrespect, but that number's out at 2.5. That's the number Phoenix. It's actually if you consider the opening, right? That's certainly less than what Phoenix was laying to Portland. Portland's better than Golden State. So I think that's been adjusted too much. It's tough to win 2 straight on the road, right? In a playoff atmosphere. It's tough to beat Phoenix, who will be playing 2 consecutive at home. So I quite like Phoenix. While it's funny. I have some Pistons futures, then I'm going to keep adding some Pistons to win the East futures. And it's much easier, I think, if they play Orlando than Charlotte. But I do find myself rooting for Charlotte because I think it'll be one of the rare instances where Pistons Hornets would be one of the most anticipated round 1 series, despite being a 1 versus 8. I think everybody would want to see that in round number 1.
Exciting weekend ahead in the Walsh household here, and I'm going to get to meet Kenny Omega, who I found out is the best man. Who'd it be, people?
I got a story for you
tonight. Going to be a bounce back for us today. I can feel it on some of those best bets for me. Team total in Major League Baseball. I had the Pirates yesterday, Joe. Scored 2 runs in the first inning. We're going to skate the victory. You know how many runs they scored the rest of the way? 0. Only scored 2, but that's okay. That's coming up here along with the Fade the Public poll. But, Joe, remember back in the day, and I say like back in the day, 80s and 90s, you picked up your telephone. You wanted to go to a concert, you called Ticketmaster. All right, that ticket will be $20 plus 99 cents for handling. Okay, I'll pay $21 for that $20 ticket. What happened in the meantime, Joe? Sports Business Journal with a tweet. A federal jury determined that Live Nation operated as an illegal monopoly at both the federal and state levels, reigniting questions about a Live Nation Ticketmaster breakup. And if anybody's bought tickets in the last 10 years, hey, man, $80 seats. Cool. $168.42 is your I thought you said the ticket was like $80. Yeah, but 10 for this, 10 for that, 7 for this, 6 for that, 4 for that, 2 for that, and away you go. Unbelievable monopoly where else you going to buy the ticket, Joe? You got to pay it.
Yeah, so the question is, though, Donnie, yes. I mean, listen, we had whistleblowers, we have guys on tape in the executive branch going, hey, they'll pay whatever it is, stupid idiots. Okay, so now what's going to happen exactly? Because I can't wait to see. Live Nation, last I checked, still emailing me, letting me know how overpriced the tickets are to like a Zach Brown band concert coming. Like they're still $300. So what's changing exactly since they have all the contracts with all the venues throughout the country and the artists can't do anything because without them, they can't play at these venues. So, yeah, I'd like to see what's going to happen here.
By the way, you just figure you want to get a game, and every sports institution does this. And I remember back in the day when Miami was still playing in the Orange Bowl, Joe, like, you know what, I'm going to the Florida State game this year. Like, cool, you're going to buy Marshall and also Akron as well. It's like, I don't want to buy 2 other games. Well, you want the Florida State tickets, you got to buy the 2 other as well. And away you go at this point. Look, we're never going to get ahead as a public out here with buying tickets. It seems like it just always goes up. And again, we always have to pay the extra fees so the ticket companies can get absolutely rich here. Let's get over to what the public's digging on today, Joe. Here's our Fade the Public poll. We're talking Live Golf, Joe, and the question we asked to the people, what are your opinions on the Live Golf Tour? 4 options. It needs to end. 2, I'll never watch it. 3, I'm neutral. And 4, actually, I enjoy it. And by the way, on that graph up there, 15% of the people actually enjoyed it. Congratulations on finding where to enjoy it at, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched 2 holes of any Live Golf tournament. And that's saying something since I have like 28 different monitors and I don't think I've ever seen 2 holes being played there. So I don't think anybody will miss it. I think it'll be great to get the DeChambeaus and the Rahms of the world back on the PGA Tour on a consistent. It'll be great for the PGA Tour. And I know they're looking forward to it as well because they probably want to run as far away from there as possible. But yeah, nobody's going to miss. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, Donnie, who knows it's even fallen at that point.
Right concept, terrible execution here. But now, execution wasn't great last night, but still winning on the week. It's a Thursday, Joe. It's time for our best bets. Here's bye. No NBA action, Joe, so we're probably looking towards Major League Baseball. Where do we go tonight for you for a best bet?
Well, Donnie, I'm going to go, which seems a little contradictory since they just scored, 11 runs last night. But how about we go to Sutter Park there out in Sacramento and take an under and go a little contrarian here. And why? Well, this is a 12 noon their time start on a getaway game here with Leiter and Lopez going here. And Leiter has done a great job of keeping the ball down and keeping the ball on the ground. And that's important in this spot here, Donnie, because you don't want anybody getting any lift. But understand, it's not 95 degrees in Sacramento right now. It's barely 60 degrees. So early afternoon start after a late game last night, getaway game. It all spells an under for me here.
I'm going down to Houston tonight, and I'm actually going to take an over, Joe, and that's between the Houston Astros and the Colorado Rockies. You take a look at Sagano on the mound for the Colorado Rockies, really struggling against right-handed batters, but the Houston Astros have been clubbing right-handed pitching as of late. The anticipated lineup has 7 of the 9 batters with plus weighted on-base percentages against right-handed pitching. If I flip it over to the Colorado Rockies the Houston Astros starting pitcher Ryan Weiss, not very good statistics through 56 batters and solid statistics against right-handed pitching for the batters of the Colorado Rockies. To me, I'm taking the over, Joe. 8.5 between the Rockies and the Astros. It's a bounce-back Thursday for the boys, and we are ready to go. But the fun doesn't stop here. Prediction, market, edge on the early line comes up next.
Not all these kids, but the majority of these kids in the top 10 have had things handed to them since they're in third grade because they're special athletically. And the fact that they get humbled a little bit, I'm here for the humbling. I've been humbled. I like when other people get humbled.
But you were humbled later.
Yeah.
You weren't humbled at 22 in front of the world.
No.
You were a grown-ass man.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Team feels slow, it feels old, it feels uninteresting. It just kind of feels like a lot of guys who are quality ball players, some big contracts, but are just like lethargic when they're out there. Like Manny Machado moves in slow motion, so does Nick Castellanos, so does Xander Bogaerts, so do a lot of these players in this lineup. And I might be piling on a little bit too deep, but this was supposed to be a contender for a World Series.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point, they'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.